Well, welcome everybody. And I am extremely excited today because I am actually joined by Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. And for you all, you have seen a couple of my segments. I've been talking to leaders and getting to get to know their perspective and getting to know their insights. And so that's what I've been doing this leadership coaching series from. So I am so excited today to be with Marshall. How are you doing, Marshall?
Oh, so happy to be here. So happy to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yes, thank you. And we have a lot in common with Marshall. So we're going to, I'm going to start with introductions. Again, my name is Joyce Weru. I'm also an executive leadership coach. I reside in Maryland and I own my own company, Rise Above Coaching. And today I'm joined again by Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, and he's a member of the Thinkers 50 Hall of Fame. He's one of the only two-time thinkers in 50, number one leadership thinker in the world. And he has been ranked as as the world's number one executive coach and top 10 business thinkers for 8 years. Marshall was chosen as the inaugural winner of the Lifetime Award of Leadership by the Harvard Institute of Coaching. This is the best part that I love. He is one of the New York Times number one bestseller author, has written and edited 43 books, which have been sold in more than 2.5 million copies. That's a lot. So he's been pretty busy. And it's actually been translated in 32 languages, which I love because it's really global. And it's been listed as bestseller in actually 12 countries. So that's actually really amazing. And Amazon recently recognized Marshall as the 100 best leadership and success books ever written and included Marshall triggers of what got you here won't get you there. One of my favorite books. And he's also a bestseller. It's like one, you have to read that book if you have not read it. And I'm actually recording this from Kenya, so I don't have the copy of it, but I have it in my house. He's a bestseller, including Mojo Succession, Are You Ready? The Leader of the Future of How Women Rise with leader author Sally Hegerson, who I also did an interview with. Marshall's professional acknowledgements include Global Gurus, CAPS D Elite Award for Lifetime Contributions in both leadership and coaching, Harvard Business Review World's number one leadership thinker, Institute for Management Studies Lifetime Achievement Award of Leadership Education. He's actually one of the few executives, coaches who have worked with over 200 major CEOs and their management teams. So that's just a remarkable outreach when it comes to leaders, Marshall. He served on the advisory boards of Peter Drucker Foundation for 10 years. He's been a volunteer for the US Army Generals, Girl Scout executives, which I was actually a Girl Scout, so I love
I
that.
am a lifetime Girl Scout.
Yeah. And, Dr. Goldsmith served as a professor of management practice at the Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. His PhD, sorry, let me do this. His PhD is from UCLA, Anderson School of Management, and he has an MBA from Indiana University of the Keller School of Business. And what I love about Marshall is really, if you have not gone to his website, which I'm sure he will announce at the end, he has written hundreds of articles, interviews, columns. And the best part about it is that they are free, right? Free. So I use your stuff. I love it. You go to his website, there's tons of information. So Marshall, it is such a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes. So maybe you could start, maybe give a little bit about your background, Marshall, and what inspired you to follow this path of working with leaders.
Well, I got a PhD from UCLA. I was a beginning professor, and I met a very famous man named Dr. Paul Hersey, and he got double booked. And I was smart enough to try to learn from him and carry the bags. And he said, "Can you do what I do? I need help." I said, "I don't know." He said, "I need help. Can you do it?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I'll pay you $1,000 for one day." I was making $15,000 for 1 year. I said, "Sign me up, coach." So I did this program. They were very angry when I showed up at the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, but then I got ranked first place of all the speakers. They said, send him again. Paul said, do you want to do this again? I said, yeah, I'll do this again. That's how I got into leadership development and coaching, also by accident. One of my clients had this young guy working for him, said, young, smart, dedicated, hardworking, driven to achieve jerk. He said, it would be worth a fortune to me if I could change that guy. I said, I like fortunes. Maybe I could help him. He said, I doubt it. I said, maybe I could help him. Then I came up with an idea. I said, I'll work with him for a year. If he gets better, pay me. If he doesn't get better, it's free. You know what the CEO said? Sold. There was nothing called coaching. I made that up.
Wow.
The definition of creativity is you just make it up.
Yes.
If you don't just make it up, you're just copying somebody else.
That's right. And part of coaching is that we're all creative, and it's a matter of exploring kind of what you inspire to be. So that's actually very amazing. So we all know, Marshall, that I'm a leadership coach myself as well. And, we work with leaders and this organizations, and they face this, volatile, uncertain and complex environment that they're working with. And actually Cut Lowen said that if you want to truly understand something, you try to change it. What has been some lessons for you during the last year and a half as you look back at all the monumental events that have happened and occurred both in the US and globally?
One is it's lonely at the top. I mean, social media has made executives so sensitive, it's hard to talk about much of anything because they're so afraid. So having a support group of people is very helpful. Over the COVID experience, I did something called a life plan review. Every weekend, my friend Mark Thompson and I, and we put in 350 hours over the COVID part. We worked with 60 amazing people. These included the head of the Olympic Committee, Pau Gasol, the great basketball star, Curtis Martin, the National Football League star. We had Broadway stars. We had CEOs. We had the head of the Rockefeller Foundation, head of the World Bank, amazing people. And every weekend they talked about their life. And what I learned is how wonderful it is to help people learn from other people.
Wow, that's very powerful.
Yeah, Mark and I were facilitators much more than experts.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. So what do you think? What must leaders do at this time if you were to be asked?
Well, I mean, what I would say for this time more than any time is Peter Drucker taught me that, today we manage knowledge workers. They know more than their boss about what they're doing. Well, you can't tell people what to do and how to do it anymore. You have to ask, you have to listen, you have to learn, you have to involve people. And in the same way, my coaching is largely the coach as a facilitator of learning. My clients, I teach them to be facilitators as leaders, to learn from everyone around them. Don't pretend to have all the answers. Don't pretend to be perfect.
Yeah. And how, that's so amazing and I always talk about this authenticity and exactly that, where I just be yourself because, that's the only way people could kind of maybe open up sometimes. And yeah, you don't always have all the answers. So
Yeah, it's easier to remember what you said if you tell the truth.
yes. Yes. And I remember you saying that very clearly. So that's very true. So what has shifted for you from a self-awareness perspective, personally as a leader, what has shifted for you?
Well, the main shift I had in coaching is I had one major breakthrough that changed my life. The coaching client I spent the least amount of time with improved the most. Coaching client I spent the most amount of time with didn't improve at all. So there seemed to be a negative correlation between spending time with me and getting better. So I talked to my friend Alan Mulally, who went on to be probably the best CEO in the world in the last 40 years. And I said, Alan, of all the people I coached, I spent the least amount of time with you and you improved the most. The way this looks, if you never met me, you'd been even better. So I said, what should I learn about coaching from you? He taught me two lessons that are great for coaches. Number one, don't make coaching about your own ego and how smart you think you are. Make it about the great people you work with. And number two, work with great people. So that you work with great people, your coaching process always works. You work with the wrong people, it never works. And as you mentioned, I always got ranked #1 coach in the world for years. Why? Nobody knows if I'm a good coach. They do know, though, I have great clients. And my great clients talk about me. And they say I'm a great coach. So why do people think I'm a great coach? I may not be the best coach, but I have the best clients. Secret to great coaching, great clients. Great clients win, bad client lose.
Yeah, yeah. And I could resonate with that as I'm coaching. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I wonder if I'm good. But, most people be like, yeah, you're a great coach, so
Don't make it about you.
yeah.
Make it about them. Yeah, I tell my clients, I don't get paid because I'm a good coach. I get paid because you're a great client. Don't make it about
Oh,
me. It's not my life here. If you don't want to get better, I don't care. But
yeah.
don't waste my time. It's not about my life. It's about your life.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. That's actually amazing to always train around with your clients. And so I'm curious, right? You have, and then like you just said, you've coached, wow, over 200 CEOs. You've actually edited and written over 43 books. Which one of those do you think particularly was most meaningful to you, and why?
I would say I would read my books, three books. How Women Rise, which you've already mentioned, which I'd say played a minor role. Sally Hoagson is the lead author, did most of the work on that one. But I still loved the book and helped her. Then I would recommend my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, which sold 1.5 million copies.
Yes.
And then I would look at the book called Triggers. So those were both big New York Times bestsellers. Both were in Amazon top 100 books ever written. So those are the two I'd recommend, along with the How Women Rise by Sally Hoagson. I love that book.
Yeah, yeah, that was a very powerful book. And even like you just said, the book that you wrote, how, what got you here won't get you there, has been really my anchor when I'm coaching, especially even the women, right? Because it's you have to shift in order for you to take yourself to the next level, and it takes a lot of that awareness as we talk in coaching to realize
Mhm.
that. So, wow, this is great. So as we're wrapping up, and I know this has been such a great, I wanted to keep this segment short and so we could kind of hear your insights. And you've been a great inspiration. Like I said, we met at the ICF, International Coaching Federation. I've read most of your books. I am a big downloader of your of your articles and workbooks on your website. And but what would be one call of action, Marshall, that you have that you want people to take away from this segment? What would it be if you had one call of action for people?
I'm going
Or
to say
two?
two. One for the coach. For the coach is ask yourself a question. I'll answer this question. I want to be the world expert at, and come up with an answer for yourself. I mean, I'm the world's expert at helping successful leaders achieve positive long-term change in behavior. I'm not the world's expert at a lot of other stuff. I'm the world's expert at something, not everything. Well, try to be the world's expert at something. The other advice for coaches is build your brand. Then the other advice I have for people in general is breathe. Imagine you're 95 years old, you're getting ready to die, but right before you die, you're given a great gift, the ability to go back in time and talk to the person who's listening to me now. What advice would that person have for you? And my friends interviewed old people who are dying. Three things. Number one, be happy now. Life is short. If you can't be happy in coaching, you're not going to be happy as an accountant. So, number one, be happy now. Number two, do whatever you can do to help people. Love the friends, the family, the people around you, and the people you work with. And it's such a blessing to be a coach because you get to help people. It's so touching on the inside. And then number three, if you have a dream, go for it. Because you don't go for it when you're 35, you may not when you're 85. And old people that try to follow their dreams are happier with their lives. So finally, I just thank you for inviting me to be here. I'm very honored to try to help you and other coaches. If I help you a little, then you help a lot of other people. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And that is such great advice. I shared before we started this. I have two girls, right? And I always tell them is just follow your dreams, be happy, and sometimes that's all, that's all that's under your control, and that's really what life is about. So, but I thank you. You've been an inspiration to so many coaches, including myself. And I thank you for doing this segment to me for, today, all the way from Kenya, which is really great to be connecting on two different worlds.
Well,
So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
yes, yes. Thank you, Marshall.